Today, Patel was finally forced to confront the contradictions he built around the Epstein files, and the moment real questions hit, his entire story collapsed, exposing how flimsy his answers always were.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin, I want to caution my colleagues on, one-sided violence in this country. We just heard that there were no riots on the right. We're literally sitting in the building where there was a giant riot by supporters of the president, the right. We also heard that only leftists, have said that Trump is a Nazi. In 2016, the current vice president of the United States said, Trump is either a cynical asshole or he's America's Hitler. And so this is the problem. I don't want to have to say this garbage, but you want me to sit here and get painted with one brush, the whole left. No, there are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support what's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building. Director, let me say first, thank you for being here, and my condolences on the loss of your friend. And I'm happy to hear that you want to do more on the social media platforms. It's crazy what's going on the social media platforms. There are so many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right, Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration. It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that, Director.
I'll work with you on 230 any day.
No problem. So now, that was the good part. I want to take your attention back a second, okay? Breaking news. Kash Patel is nominated to be the FBI director. Dan Bongino is nominated to be the number 2 at the FBI. MAGA celebrates, rejoices, bells are ringing out. The team, Patel, Bongino, that sought out every podcast microphone to talk about the Epstein list. The names are finally going to get released. It begins. They produce white binders. Phase 1 with the podcasters. This is not actually one of them, of course. I made this. Your name's on it, right? And the names are going to come out. Pam Bondi says the list is on her desk. Then a memo comes out all of a sudden and says, there's no list. Oh, no phase 2. Phase 2 binders never happen. You said the conspiracy theories around Epstein just aren't true. They never have been. And yesterday, in an answer to Senator Kennedy, you said the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. So according to your testimony yesterday and in this committee, according to the evidence the FBI has, the number of names on the list are 0.
No,
zero.
The index has been released, and the number of people involved in that trafficking operation were charged in 2018.
Other than Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, your testimony in the Senate and here is that according to the evidence you have, the number of other names is 0.
That were charged based on credible evidence.
Well, who are the other names? Give me the other names that weren't charged.
We are not releasing the names of anyone because the Department of Justice never does that of anyone that didn't have any credible information to attack them.
Let me move forward. The president you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his, okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring. We'd be opening that investigation into that.
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, I look forward to that investigation.
The exchange matters for one simple reason. It reveals what most people never get to see: how political narratives are constructed, how they crumble under pressure, and how public officials react when their own words finally catch up to them. It's rare to see that entire arc happen in real time, but that's exactly what unfolded here. Senator Dick Durbin didn't enter this hearing with a partisan mission or desire to score quick hits. He walked in with something far more valuable: honesty about the political climate. Before he even mentioned Kash Patel's name, he made it clear that extremism isn't owned by any one party. Radicalization doesn't have a political affiliation. Violence doesn't care about party lines. That framing matters because it strips away the usual excuses. This isn't about Republicans versus Democrats. This is about responsibility. Who tells the truth, who distorts it, who inflames it, and who uses it to gain influence. Only after setting that foundation does Durbin pivot to Patel. And what he does next is something viewers rarely get. He reconstructs the entire timeline of Patel's evolution. His transformation from political commentator and media personality into someone now seeking to run the FBI. Durbin essentially rewinds Patel's public life, reminding the room what Patel used to say before he had institutional power. Back then, Patel was more than willing to engage in speculation about the Epstein files. He implied the FBI was hiding names. He fed the idea that a massive disclosure was coming. He suggested that the public only needed to wait until he had the authority to reveal everything. These weren't accidental hints. They were deliberate signals, statements designed to stoke curiosity, stir outrage, and build the persona he was cultivating. But now, with responsibility and law on his shoulders, Patel tells a completely different story. Under oath, he claims that according to the FBI's findings, the number of individuals implicated beyond Epstein and Maxwell is 0. Not limited, not uncertain. 0. And Durbin immediately pounces on the contradiction. If Patel once publicly implied there were hidden names and suppressed evidence, where is any of that now? If he once suggested there was a list of influential individuals tied to Epstein's network, why does he now say that list never existed? The contradiction is glaring and deliberate. It exposes a truth about political rhetoric. Often it grows detached from evidence, inflated beyond reality, pushed into public narratives, not because it's factual, but because it's useful. Durbin forces Patel to face that contradiction. He doesn't shout. He doesn't mock. He uses Patel's own past statements as the evidence. And Patel, now operating within the walls of an institution where false claims carry consequences, retreats. Every bold claim he once made is softened. Every implied revelation evaporates. Every suggestion of a hidden list becomes a denial that any list ever existed at all. Then comes a stunning moment. When Durbin asks Patel something as basic as how many times Donald Trump's name appears in the Epstein files, a number Patel should absolutely know if he has reviewed the material, Patel says he doesn't know. It's a small answer, but a revealing one. Either he truly doesn't know, which suggests a lack of engagement with the review he claims to oversee, or he does know and doesn't want to say. Either way, it chips at his credibility. Durbin then pushes further, referencing media reports and claims from whistleblowers alleging that the FBI diverted large numbers of agents away from active criminal cases, national security cases, human trafficking investigations, violent crime units, in order to sift through Epstein materials, not for investigative reasons, according to those reports, but to redact references to Trump and other public figures. If even part of that allegation is true, it raises serious questions about the FBI's priorities. Who ordered that? Why? How many resources were diverted from urgent work? Patel denies it all, but his denials lack the specifics or clarity that would make them convincing. It's denial without detail, the surest sign that the truth is deeply uncomfortable. And then the exchange delivers its final twist. The alleged Epstein membership card stamped with Trump's signature, a card Trump insists is forged. Durbin's question is simple. If the president says the card is fake, and if the administration backs him, will the FBI investigate the potential forgery? At first, Patel resists. He stalls, he sidesteps. But as Durbin lays out the logic, if the card is fake, then a federal crime has occurred. Patel finally concedes and agrees to open an investigation. That moment reveals something essential about institutions. They don't move because they choose to. They move because they are pushed. Because elected officials demand answers. Because contradictions become impossible to ignore. Because the truth, once uncovered, becomes too heavy to bury again. This hearing wasn't about sensational headlines or political theater. It was about accountability. It was about examining how much of what officials say is grounded in evidence and how much is crafted to feed outrage, attention, or public performance. It showed how narratives built for media consumption collapse the moment they collide with institutional responsibility. And it teaches a simple, unavoidable lesson. Transparency is never freely given. It must be insisted upon, question by question, contradiction by contradiction. If the public wants real accountability, they have to keep watching, keep questioning, and never accept an answer that falls apart the second it faces scrutiny.